Jayo Jayo Śrī Caitanya, Jayo Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jayo Jayo Śrī Caitanya, Jayo Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Śrī Caitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripke Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayavacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Ananda Leela Maya Vigrahaya Hema Vidivya Chavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Shruyatam Shruyatam Nityam Giyatam Giyatam Muda Chintayam Chintayam Bhaktas Caitanya-Caritāmṛta. So Kaviraj Goswami is giving the prescription, the recommendation that how we have to approach Chaitanya Charitamrita is Shruyatam Shruyatam Nityam. That, O devotees, may the transcendental life and character of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu always be heard. This is his desire, and this is what he is benedicting. And after hearing, one has to chant Giyatam Giyatam Muda. Muda means with joy. We should recite. So our sessions are recitations of Śrī Caitanya-Caritāmṛta, and in this continuation we have continuing in the 17th chapter. Yesterday we discussed. Yesterday I was, seeing that we spent almost 4 hours of recitation of Śrī Caitanya-Caritāmṛta. And one of the main reasons why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to take sannyas, because the Brahmanas are Navadvip. They were they were committing many offenses. And the greatest offense they were committing, that they were blaspheming the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his golden incarnation as Nimai Pandit. So he decided to take sannyas to deliver them. So in continuing, he says, Pranatite hobe ihar aparadashaya nirmal hriday bhakti kariba udaya. Pranatite. Pranatite is to offer respectful obeisances. So as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had planned that once he accepts the order of sannyas, so criticizing him, who are blaspheming him. So they will all offer him respects, and how they will offer respects? By offering him obeisances. So that offering of obeisances itself will be so purifying that hobeihar aparadashaya. Offering obeisances will relieve them of all the reactions of their offenses. Then by my grace, devotional service bhakti will awaken in their pure heart. Nirmal hriday bhakti karibe uday. So two aspects yesterday briefly I discussed, that why we are so much having struggle in bhakti, because of two reasons. One is our anarthas, our conditioning. Again and again we are dragged into sense gratification, sense enjoyment. We have sense perception. And second is, even after coming to the path of bhakti, we commit aparadh, offenses to other devotees, Vaishnavas, spiritual masters. So one cannot advance in bhakti unless and until he is free from both, from anartha and from aparadh. So offering obeisances is very powerful. Yesterday we discussed in detail. So Mahaprabhu has devised this plan that just by offering obeisances, all the reactions of their offenses will be nullified and their heart will become nirmal. Their heart will become pure. And unless and until one's heart is pure, one cannot perform devotional service. So then by my grace, Mahaprabhu is contemplating devotional service, bhakti will awaken in their pure hearts. According to Vedic injunctions, only a Brahmana may be offered sannyas. The Shankara Sampradaya, Ekadanda Sannyas Sampradaya, awards this sannyas order only to caste Brahmanas. We see apart from the Vaishnavas, even in the other Vaishnavas, we had gone to Udupi, the Madhava Sampradaya, they don't accept anyone in sannyas who is not also born in Brahmana family. So award the sannyas order only to caste Brahmanas or born Brahmanas. But in the Vaishnava system, even one not born in a Brahmana family may be made a Brahmana according to the direction of Hari Bhakti Vilas. Tatha diksha vidhanena dvijatvam jayate nirnam. I think I covered this verse. Any person from any part of the world may be made a Brahmana by the regular process of initiation. And when he follows Brahmanical behavior, observing the principles of abstaining from intoxication, illicit sex, meat eating and gambling, he may be offered sannyas. All the sannyasis in the Krishna consciousness movement who are preaching all over the world are regular Brahmana sannyasis. Thus the so-called caste sannyas, Brahmanas, should not object to offering them respectful obeisances. By offering such obeisances as recommended by Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, they will diminish their offense and automatically awaken to their natural position of devotional service. As it is said, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kabunoi. Krishna Prem can be awakened in a purified heart. The more we offer obeisances to sannyasis, especially Vaishnava sannyasis, the more we diminish our offenses and purify our heart. Only in the purified heart can Krishna Prema awaken. This is the process of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's cult, the Krishna consciousness movement. Simply, it made it even more simple. The greatest benediction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that he has made the most difficult thing become easy, accessible, and achievable. It has become easy. Not only easy, it is accessible, and one can achieve success. And one very sure short formula is offering obeisances to sannyasis. Ei saba pashandire tabe hoibe nistar aur kono upay nahi ei yukti sar. All the unfaithful rows of this world can be delivered by this process. This is the yukti. This is the plan of the Lord. This is the process which he has devised. There is no alternative. This is the essence of the argument. Ei drida yukti kare Prabhu ache ghare Keshav Bharti aila nadiya nagare. After coming to this firm conclusion, the Lord continued to stay at home. In the meantime, Keshav Bharti came to the town of Nadia. Prabhu tare namaskari kaila nimantrana bhiksha karaila tare kaila nivedana. The Lord offered him respectful obeisances and invited him to his house. Lord Chaitanya invited Keshav Bharti, who came to Navadip. Keshav Bharti is in the sannyas order. After feeding him sumptuously, he submitted to him his petition. According to system of the Vedic society, whenever an unknown sannyasi comes to the village or town, someone must invite him to take prasadam in his home. Sannyasis generally take prasad in the house of a Brahmana because the Brahmana worships the Lord Narayan Shila or Shaligram Shila. And therefore there is prasadam that the sannyasis may take. Keshav Bharti accepted the invitation of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Thus the Lord had a good opportunity to explain his desire to take sannyas from him. So previously the sannyasis also accepted the invitation only from those who were actually Brahmanas. And Prabhupada is giving the reason for that because the Brahmanas were worshipping Lord Narayan in his Shaligram Shila form. So those who are worshipping Lord Narayan or those who are worshipping Krishna in their deity form, what they will do? They will offer it first to the Lord. And the sannyasis will get prasad. So that means the sannyasis will only accept prasad. Tumita Ishwara Bata Sakshat Narayan Kripa Kari Kora Mora Samsara Mochana. Mahaprabhu is submitting, Sir, you are directly Narayan. Therefore, please be merciful unto me. Deliver me from this material bondage. Why Mahaprabhu is saying that to me Sakshat Narayan? Because this is the conception of the Shankara, the Shankaracharya sect of sannyasis. Danda Matra Grahena Naro Narayan Bhavid. That as they accept sannyas, they think they have become one with Lord Narayan. The Tumito Ishwara Bata is Sakshat Narayan. So Mahaprabhu is basically addressing him that you are directly Narayan. Therefore, please be merciful unto me, deliver me from this material bondage. Bharti kahena tumi Ishwar antaryami ye karaha se karibe swatantra nahi ami. But Keshav Bharti is not just an ordinary sannyasi. He is well informed, he is cognizant. He does not see Nimai Pandit as an ordinary Brahmana or a scholar. What is the vision? Here he is saying, Bharti kahena tumi Ishwar antaryami. Keshav Bharti replied to the Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Super Soul. And ye karaha se kariba, that whatever you cause me to do, I shall do. Why? Swatantra nahi ami. I am not independent of you. E bali bharti gosai kato yati gila Mahaprabhu taha ye sannyasa karila. After saying this, Keshav Bharti, the spiritual master, went back to his village Katua. Katwa is also known as Kantak Gram. It is Kantak. Kantak, you understand, is what? Kantak means a thorn. So in the heart of all the Navdeep Vasis, Katwa was pricked like a thorn, because Lord Chaitanya left them, and in this town he took sannyas. After saying this, Keshav Bharati, the spiritual master, went back to his village Katwa. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went there and accepted the renounced order of his life, sannyas. So we went there. What was the name of that place where we went in Katwa, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas? We saw all those places where Mahaprabhu took sannyas, where he got his head shaved, and where the footprints are. What is the name of that place? 1, 2, 3. Not everyone remembers. Ganesh Prabhu, what is the name of that place in Katwa where we went? What is it called?
Right now I'm not remembering.
So what do you remember? The purpose of going to the Dham is that it comes in our, internal memory. Who else? देवाशीष, आप बताइए, कटवा में उस स्थान का नाम कहाँ है जहाँ महाप्रभु ने संन्यास लिया था?
विष्णु जी थोड़ा भूल
गया। याद ही कब हुआ कि भूल गया? याद होगा तब तो भूलेंगे। प्रणव प्रभु,
Gauranga.
Yes, it is Gauranga Bari. And that is that beautiful form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the dancing form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which was carved by Narhari Sarkar Thakur. So see, first Keshav Bharati came, Kaviraj Goswami is giving the sequence, and he returned back, and when he returned back to Katwa, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu followed him and he accepted the renounced order of sannyas. At the end of his 24th year, at the end of the fortnight of the waxing moon, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu left Navdeep and crossed the river Ganges at a place called Nirdoy Ghat. This ghat is there in Navdeep. It is called Nirdoy. Daya means mercy, and Nirdoy means that which is devoid of mercy. Why? Because all the Navdeep Vasis were heartbroken. So that ghat from where he left is known as Nirdoy Ghat. Then he reached, it is said here, Kantak Nagar or Kotaya, Katwa, where he accepted Ekdanda Sannyas according to the Shankarite system. Since Keshav Bharati belonged to the Shankarite sect, he could not initiate Chaitanya Mahaprabhu into Vaishnava Sannyas order, whose member carried that Danda. Chandrasekhar Acharya assisted in the routine ceremonial work of Lord's acceptance of sannyas. By the order of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Kirtan was performed for the entire day. And at the end of the day, the Lord shaved off his hair. On the next day, he became a regular sannyasi with one rod, Ekadand. From that day, his name was Śrī Krishna Caitanya. So see, after he took sannyas, his name was changed to Śrī Krishna Caitanya. What was his name before? Vishwambhar. From Vishwambhar, he became Śrī Krishna Caitanya. Before that, he was also known as Nimai Pandit. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu in this sannyas order traveled over to Radhadesh, the region where the Ganges river. Keshav Bharati accompanied him for some distance. Sange Nityananda Chandra Shekhar Acharya Mukund Datta 18 Kaila Sarvakarya. When Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas, three personalities were with him to perform all the necessary activities. They were Nityananda Prabhu, Chandrasekhar Acharya and Mukundat. So I have witnessed one sannyas ceremony in our temple. It happened 2 years back during Ramanavami. His Holiness Bhakti Rakshak Golokanand Swami Maharaj took sannyas. He is from our temple, so Maharaj took sannyas. There was elaborate arrangement and fire sacrifice. So it's a big ceremony which happens, and there are many vows which are taken by the aspirant who takes sannyas. Ye adi lila re kaila sutra ganana vistari varnila iha dasa vrindavana. So Kaviraj Goswami is concluding, he is saying, thus I have summarized the incidents of the Adi Lila. Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur has described them elaborately in his Chaitanya Bhagavat. Yashodanandan hoila sachiranandana chaturvida bhakta bhave kare aswadana. The same Supreme Personality of Godhead who appeared as the son of Mother Yashoda has now appeared as the son of Mother Sachi, relishing 4 kinds of devotional activities. What were the reasons? What were one of the external reasons of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance? Chari bhava bhakti diya Dubaimu Tribhuvan. So, why he took sannyas? So, one of the reasons was that he wanted to give the devotional service in 4 mellows or in 4 moods. Let us see. Prabhupada will explain it. Servitude, friendship, parental affection, conjugal love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead are the basis of 4 kinds of devotional activities. That is Dasyam, Sakhyam, Vatsalya and Madhurya. There is one more which is Shanta. So Prabhupada is explaining. In Shanta, the marginal stage of devotional service, there is no activity. So we see in but there is no exchange in Shantaras. So Prabhupada is saying the marginal stage of devotional service, there is no activity. But above the Shanta humor are servitude, friendship, parental affection and conjugal love, which represent the gradual growth of devotional service to higher and higher platform. So where the beginning is actually is from the stage of servitude. So once we get initiated, what we get? We also get the stamp that of such and such das and such dasi. So where we are initiated not from the Shantaras, we are initiated one level higher from the Dasyaras. And it is up to us that which bhava or which ras we can exchange or reciprocate with the Supreme Lord. It is not to be artificially done. That bhava or that swarupa is already fixed. But what it has to be done, it has to be only revived. Swamadhure Radha Prema Rasa Aswadite Radha Bhava Angikari Ache Bhalamate. To taste the mellows of Srimati Radharani's loving affair in her relationship with Krishna and to understand the reservoir of pleasure in Krishna, Krishna himself as Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the mood of Radharani. So this is Krishna who is accepting the mood of Radharani to relish the loving affairs, the love that Srimati Radharani relishes by serving Krishna. Prabhupada explains, in this connection, Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhashya, Sri Gaurasundar is Krishna himself with the attitude of Srimati Radharani. What is the attitude of Srimati Radharani? She is the personification of service. loving devotional service. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu never gave up the attitude of the gopis. He remained everlastingly predominated by Krishna and never accepted the part of the predominator by imitating conjugal love with an ordinary woman as Sahajiyas generally do. He never placed himself in the position of a debauchee. So Prabhupada is giving this very convincing clarity that Gauranga Mahaprabhu never accepted the mood of Krishna, who is enjoying the gopis. He never did that. So Prabhupada is condemning those who are imitating in that way. He never placed himself in the position of a debauchee. Lusty materialists like the members of the Sahajiya Sampradaya hanker after women, even others' wives. But when they try to ascribe the responsibility for their lusty activities to Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, they become offenders to Swarup Damodar and Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. In Chaitanya Bhagavat Adi Leela, which is 15, and the 17th word, it is said, Sabe patra strira prati nahi parihas, Stri dekhi dure Prabhu hoy ka ek pas. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu never even joked with others' wife. Oh, he took the order of sannyas. In the order of sannyas, he even did not allow the shadow of the woman to come close. As soon as he saw a woman coming, he would immediately give her ample room to pass without talking. He was extremely strict regarding the association of women. The Sahajiyas, however, pose as followers of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, although they indulge in lusty affairs with women. In his youth, Lord Chaitanya was very humorous with everyone, but he never joked with any woman, nor in this incarnation did he talk about women. The Gauranga Nagari party is not approved by Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu or Vrindavan Das Thakur. So there are the Sahajiyas. There are 13 types of Sahajiyas. Sahajiyas means those who are deviated, those who do not follow the principle. The two aspects. One is the sentiment, that is bhava, but the sentiment is based on the principles. That is the Siddhanta. So those Sahajiyas who do not follow the Siddhanta of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his form as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So one of the example was Bishakshen. You know, in the time of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur very vehemently uprooted this Sahajiya Sampradayas. He really exposed them and he clamped them down. Even Srila Bhakti Saraswati Thakur. There are still some few in the Bengal area. So this Gauranga Nagari party, so they form the Rasa groups. They try to imitate Krishna, saying that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different from Krishna, and they have their own circles of performing ras. So Prabhupada is very heavily saying that this Gaurang Nagari party is not approved by Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu or Vrindavan Das Thakur. Even though one may offer all kinds of prayer to Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, one should strictly avoid worshipping him as Gauranga Nagar. Like Krishna is Brajavar Nagar. Yashomati Nandana Brajavar Nagar. Gokula Ranjana Kahana. But Mahaprabhu never accepted that role. The personal behavior of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu and the verses written by Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur have completely repudiated the lusty desires of the Gauranga Nagaris. So these are all pseudo followers. They are all deviated or degraded or distracted persons. They don't represent. So that is why our acharyas, they had to so vehemently oppose all of them and expose them, because they are actually not the followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gopi Baba Yate Prabhu Dariyache Kanta Brajendra Nandan Mane Apanar Kanta. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the mood of the gopis who accept Brajendra Nandan Shri Krishna as their lover. Gopikara bhavai sudridha nishchaya Brajendra Nandan vina anyat nahi hoya. It is firmly concluded that the ascetic mood of the gopis is possible only before Krishna and no one else. Shyama Sundar Shikhi Picha Gunja Vibhushana Gopi Vesha Tri Bhangima Murali Vadana. He has a bluish complexion, a peacock feather on his head, a gunja garland, and the decorations of a cowherd boy. His body is curved in 3 places, and he holds a flute to his mouth. Iha chhadi Krishna yadi hoye anyakar gopikare bhava nahi yaha nikat tahar. If Lord Krishna gives up his original form and assumes another Vishnu form, nearness to him cannot invoke the ascetic mood of the gopis. That is what the Rath Yatra is. Because when Srimati Radharani meets Krishna after almost 100 years of separation, where at Kurukshetra, not on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, but on the occasion of the solar eclipse. But when he sees the mood of Krishna in his magnificence, his opulence, his majesty as Dwarikadish, so she is uncomfortable and she submits to Krishna that the form that you have assumed, it cannot invoke the same feeling, the same mood. So what is the Rath Yatra? Rath Yatra is to bring Krishna back to Vrindavan, where there is Yamuna, where there is Giri Govardhan, where there is Ramana Reti. Prabhupada will explain, okay. Prabhupada has given the purport. Gopinama Pushpendra Nandana Jusho Bhavishya Kastam Kriti Vignatum Shamate Durha Padavi Sancharina Prakriyanam Avishkruvati Vaishnavim Api Tanum Tasmin Bhuje Jishnubhir Yasham Hanta Chaturbhir Adbhut Ruchim Ragodaya Kunchati. This is a quotation from Lalit Madhava by Srila Rupa Goswami. Once Lord Shri Krishna playfully manifested himself as Narayan with 4 victorious hands and a very beautiful form. This is when Krishna was having the Rasalila. And in the Rasalila, the gopis, they were all feeling very, very privileged that they are having the very personal and intimate association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And as this element of pride manifested in their heart, Krishna became unmanifest. He left the Rasastali. And when the gopis were searching for Krishna near the Shringar Vat, so Krishna assumed the form of Narayan. And when the gopis saw the form of Narayan, so this is being mentioned here, once Lord Shri Krishna playfully manifested himself as Narayan with 4 victorious hands and a very beautiful form. When the gopis saw this exalted form, however, their ecstatic feelings were crippled. That means their feeling was over. It was covered. Even a learned scholar, therefore, cannot understand the gopis' ecstatic feeling, which are firmly fixed upon the original form of Lord Krishna as the son of Nanda Maharaj. The wonderful feelings of the gopis in ecstatic Parama Rasa with Krishna constitute the greatest mystery in spiritual life. Prabhupada's purport. Short, okay. So this all is explained by Srila Rupa Goswami. Vasanta Kale Rasalila Kare Govardhane Antardhana Koila Sanket Kare Radha Sane. So Krishna performs Ras on every Purnima. The most prominent is the Sharad Purnima and the other is the Vasant Purnima. So this is about Vasant. Vasant Kale Rasa Leela, during the season of the springtime, when the Rasa dance was going on, and where this dance is happening, this is happening in Govardhan. When the Rasa dance was going on, suddenly Krishna disappeared from the scene, indicating that he wanted to be alone with Srimati Radharani. Nibritni kunje vasi dekhe Radhara bata aniveshite aila taha gopi kar tha. Krishna was sitting in a solitary bush, waiting for Srimati Radharani to pass by. But while he was searching, the gopis arrived there like a phalanx of soldiers. So how many gopis are there in a Rasa dance? It is inconceivable. It is mind-boggling. That number is so huge and so enormous that we cannot even calculate. It is said that there were hundreds of youth, and each youth has crores of gopis. This is unestimable. Dure hoite Krishna dekhi bale gopi gana ei dekha kunjera bhitara brajendra nandana. Just see, the gopis said, seeing Krishna from a distant place. Here within a bush is Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj. Gopi gana dekhi Krishna hoila sadha vasa lukaite nari labhaye hoila vibhas. As soon as Krishna saw all the gopis, he was struck with emotion. Thus he could not hide himself, and out of fear he became motionless. Chaturbhuja murti dhare ache navashiya Krishna dekhi gopi kahe nikate asiya. Krishna assumed his four-armed Narayan form and sat there. When the gopis came, they looked at him and spoke as follows. Iho Krishna nahi iho Narayana murti ete bali tare sabe kare nati stuti. He is not Krishna. Iho Krishna nahi. He is not Krishna. Iho Narayan Murti. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan. So they know who is Narayan, but they don't consider Krishna to be Narayan or the cause of Narayan. After saying this, they offered obeisances and following respectful prayers. Namo Narayana Deva Karaha Prasad Krishna Sanga Deha Mora Guchaha Vishad. So he says, if you are there, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Lord Narayan, we offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Kindly be merciful to us, give us the association of Krishna, and thus vanquish our lamentation. They have no interest, no desire of any association with Narayan, but from Narayan they are seeking the benediction, the blessing, that they get the opportunity to have association with Krishna, and so that their feeling of separation, their lamentation can be over. The gopis are not made happy even by seeing the four-armed form of Narayan. Yet they offered their respects to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and begged from him the benediction of achieving the association of Krishna. Such is the ecstatic feeling of the gopis. Eta bole namaskari gela gopi gana hena kale radha shi dila darshana. After saying this, and offering obeisances, all the gopis dispersed. Then Srimati Radharani came and appeared before Lord Krishna. Radha dekhi Krishna tare hasya karite sei chaturbhuja murti chahe na rakhite. When Lord Krishna saw Radharani, he wanted to maintain the four-armed form to joke with her. Sei chaturbhuja murti chahe na. This was a desire. Rakhite, to retain. Lokaila dui bhuja radhara agrete bahu yatna kaila Krishna narila rakhite. But in front of Srimati Radharani, Sri Krishna had to hide his two extra arms. He tried his best to keep four arms before her, but he was completely unable to do so. Radhara Vishuddha Bhaver Achintya Prabhav Ye Krishnera Karaila Dvibhuja Swabhav. The influence of Radharani's pure ecstasy is so inconceivably great, that it forced Krishna to come to his original two-arm form. So Krishna melted. He could not retain his four-arm form. Rasaramba vidhu nilya vasati kunja mrigakshi ganer drishtam gopiyotam swam uddhardhiya ye sashtu sandarshita radhaye pranasya yasya hanta mahima yasta shriya rakshitum sa sakya prabhava vishnurapi harina nasit chatur bahuta. This again I think is from Ujjwal Neelmani. Okay. Prior to Ras dance, Lord Krishna hid himself in a grove just to have fun. When the gopis came, their eyes resembling those of deer. By his sharp intelligence, he exhibited his beautiful four-armed form to hide himself. But when Srimati Radharani came there, Krishna could not maintain his four arms in her presence. This is the wonderful glory of her love. This is the quotation from Ujjwal Neelmani. This is Naika Bhed 7 by Srila Rupa Goswami. Shri Vrajeshwar Iha Jagannath Pitha Sei Vrajeshwari Iha Sachi Devi Mata. Father Nanda, the king of Brajbhumi, is now Jagannath Mishra. Sei Vrajeshwar. Vraja Ishwara. Who is Vrajeshwar? Is Nanda Maharaj. Iha Jagannath Pita. Father Nanda, the king of Brajbhumi, is now Jagannath Mishra. Pita is Jagannath Pita. Sorry. Sei Vrajeshwari Iha Jagannath Pita. Sei Vrajeshwari Iha Sachi Devi Mata. And Mother Yashoda, the queen of Brajbhumi, is now Sachi Devi, Lord Chaitanya's mother. Sei Nanda Suta Iha Chaitanya Gosai. Sei Baladev Iha Nityananda Bhai. The former son of Nanda Maharaj is now Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, and the former Baladeva, Krishna's brother, is now Nityananda Prabhu, the brother of Lord Chaitanya. Vatsalya Dasya Sakhya Tina Bhavamaya Sei Nityananda Krishna Chaitanya Sahaya. Śrī Nityananda Prabhu always feels the ecstatic emotions of fraternity, servitude, and friendship. He always assists Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu in that way. Prema bhakti diyate ho bhashala jagate tahara charitra loke na pare bhujite. Śrī Nityananda Prabhu overflooded the entire world by distributing transcendental loving service. No one can understand his characters and his activities. So Nityananda Prabhu is the personality who is freely distributing the transcendental love by engaging everyone in loving service. What he did? He opened the Nama hut. He opened the marketplace to distribute the love of the Lord in the form of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. What is that song? Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajana. So it is Nityananda Mahajan. And where he distributed, he started in Godrum, where he opened the Nama hut, the marketplace. Market people buy and sell. So he was freely selling without any consideration. Who is patra, apatra, vichar nahi, nahi sthana, sthana. Advaita Acharya Gosai, Bhakta Avatar, Krishna Avatariya Kaila, Bhaktira Prachar. Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu appeared as the incarnation of a devotee. Bhakta Avatar. He is in the category of Krishna because he is Vishnu, he is Mahavishnu. But he descended to this earth to propagate devotional service. Sakhya dasa dui bhava sahajataha. So please understand, the very technical things Kaviraj Goswami is explaining. So Nityananda Prabhu exhibited only 3 rasas. What were the 3 rasas? The Dasya, Sakhya and Vatsalya. Whereas Advaita Acharya, he is in Sakhya and Dasya. Dui bhava sahajataha. Kabhu Prabhu kare na tare guru vyahvar. Although he is in the age of grandfather, but he did not exhibit the Vatsalya. His natural emotions were always on the platform of fraternity, that is friendship, and servitude, which is Dasya. But the Lord sometimes treated him as a spiritual master. Shrivasadiyata Mahāprabhura Bhakta Gana Nija Nija Bhave Kare Chaitanya Sevana. All the devotees of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu headed by Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur is the most prominent. Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda have their own emotional humors in which they render service unto him. So what is not there? Even the fraternity, that Sakhyam is not there. It is only mainly Dasyam. Pandita Gosai Adi Yara Yei Rasa Sei Rase Prabhu Hoye Tara Vasha. But who are in the special rasa? That conjugal rasa is now explained. Personal associates like Gadadhar, Swarup Damodar Ramanand Roy, and the 6 Goswamis headed by Rup Goswami are all situated in their respective transcendental humors. Thus, the Lord submits to various positions in various transcendental mellows. Not disclosing. Okay. In the verse 296 through 301, the emotional devoted service of Sri Nityanand, Sri Advaita Prabhu and others have been fully described. Describing such individual services, the Gaur Gonadesh Deepika 11-16 declares that although Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared as a devotee, he is none other than the son of Nanda Maharaj. Similarly, although Sri Nityananda Prabhu appeared as Lord Chaitanya's assistant, he is none other than Baldev, the carrier of the plough. Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Sadashiv from the spiritual world. All the devotees headed by Srivas Thakur are his marginal energy, whereas the devotees headed by Gadadhar Pandit are manifestations of his internal potency. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Advaita Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu all belong to the Vishnu Tattva category because Lord Chaitanya is an ocean of mercy. He is addressed as Mahaprabhu, whereas Nityananda and Advaita, being 2 great personalities who assist Lord Chaitanya, are addressed as Prabhu. Thus, there are 2 Prabhus and 1 Mahaprabhu. Gadadhar Goswami is a representative of perfect Brahmana, spiritual master. Srivas Thakur represents the perfect Brahmana devotee. These 5 are known as Panchatattva. Iha Shama Vamsi Mukha Gopa Vilasi Iha Gaura Kabhu Dvija Kabhuta Sannyasi. In Krishna Lila, the Lord's complexion is blackish, holding a flute to his mouth. He enjoys as a cowherd boy. Now the self-same person has appeared with a fair complexion, sometimes acting as a Brahmana and sometimes accepting the renounced order of life. Ateva Apani Prabhu Gopi Bhavadhari Brajendra Nandan Kahe Prananath Kari. Therefore, the Lord himself, accepting the emotional ecstasy of the gopis, now addresses the son of Nanda Maharaj. O master of my life, O my dear husband. This is very confidential, very advanced rasa. So now he has taken the mood of the gopis and is addressing Krishna. Say Krishna, say Gopi, Parama Virod, Achintya Charitra Prabhur Ati Sudurbodh. He is Krishna, yet he has accepted the mood of the gopis. How is it so? It is the inconceivable character of the Lord, which is very difficult to understand. So better not to try, because our intelligence will fail. Krishna accepting the part of the gopis is certainly contradictory according to any mundane calculation. But the Lord, by his inconceivable character, may act like the gopis and feel separation from Krishna. Although he is Krishna himself, such a contradiction can be reconciled only by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he has energy that is inconceivable, achintya, which can make possible that which is impossible to do. Aghat ghatana patiyasi. Such contradictions are very difficult to understand unless a devotee strictly follows the Vaishnava philosophy under the direction of the Goswamis. Therefore, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ends every chapter with this verse. Rupa Raghunathe Pade Yahara Caitanya-Caritāmṛta Kahe Krishnadas. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Śrī Caitanya-Caritāmṛta, following in their footsteps. In a song by Narottam Das Thakur, it is stated, Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoibe Akuti Kabe Ham Bhuja Bose Yugal Piriti. The conjugal love between Radha and Krishna, which is called Yugala Piriti, is not understandable by mundane scholars, artists, or poets. It is simply to be understood by devotees who strictly follow in the footsteps of the 6 Goswamis. And who is the representative of the 6 Goswamis? Is Srila Prabhupada. So if we are strictly following in line with the teachings and the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, then we are strictly following in the footsteps of Rupa Raghunatha Pade. Sometimes so-called artists and poets try to understand the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna, and they publish cheap books of poetry and pictures on the subject. Unfortunately, however, they do not understand the transcendental affairs of Radha and Krishna, even to a smallest degree. They are simply meddling in a matter in which they are not fit even to enter. The Prabhupada is warning. Ithe tarka kari keha na kare samshaya Krishnera chinte shakti mata hoya. So there is no point in arguing or trying to understand this very confidential aspect. One cannot understand the contradiction in Lord Chaitanya's character by putting forward mundane logic and arguments. Consequently, one should not maintain doubts in this connection. One should simply try to understand the inconceivable energy of Krishna. Otherwise, one cannot understand how such contradictions are possible. So what is required to enter into Chaitanya Leela is faith. Achintya Adbhuta Krishna Chaitanya Vihar Chitra Bhave Chitra Guna Chitra Vahvar. Achintya Adbhuta Krishna Chaitanya Vihar. The pastimes of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are, first it is Achintya, it is inconceivable. And it is also Adbhut, it is wonderful. And not only his Leela or Vihar is inconceivable and wonderful, his Bhava, his ecstasy is wonderful. Chitra Guna, his qualities are wonderful. And Vyavara, his behavior is wonderful. So everything about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is filled with wonder. And whoever hears or whoever assimilates is also struck, his heart is struck with wonder. There is no thunder, but there is always wonder, because it is achintya. Tarke iha nahi mane ei durachar, kumbhi paake pache tara nahi ke nistar. Kaviraj Goswami is giving a stern warning. What is he saying? Tarke iha nahi mane ei durachar. Even simply adheres to mundane argument and therefore does not accept this. That is why this is a PhD. This is not for neophytes. Chaitanya Leela is not for neophyte. It is only for those who are advanced. Advanced means they have sufficient faith and they are not bewildered. They do not attempt to understand through their mundane logic. So if one simply adheres to mundane arguments and therefore does not accept this, Kaviraj Goswami is giving a very big warning. He says he will boil in the hell of Kumbhi Pak. For him, there is no deliverance. Kumbhi Pak is the type of hellish condition is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 26th chapter, 13. Very elaborately, all the hellish situations are described there, wherein it is stated that a person who cooks living birds and beasts to satisfy his tongue is brought here before Yamaraj after death and punished in the Kumbhi Pak hell. He is put into boiling oil called Kumbhi Pak, from which there is no deliverance. Kumbhi Pak is meant for persons who are unnecessarily envious. Those who are envious of the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu are punished in that hellish condition. Achintya khalu ye bhav natam starkena yojayet prakartebhya param yaksha tad achintya yasya lakshanam. Anything transcendental to material nature is called inconceivable, whereas arguments are all mundane. Since mundane arguments cannot touch transcendental subject matters, one should not try to understand transcendental subjects through mundane arguments. This is the verse from Mahabharata Bhishma Parva, 522, also quoted in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami. Adbhuta Chaitanya Leela Yahara Vishwas Shri Janayai Chaitanya Padpash. Only a person who has firm faith in the wonderful pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can approach his lotus feet. One more. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Paye Shudrir Nishchoy. That is Shraddha. Shudrir Nishchoy. Never a doubt. It is beyond the capacity of our intelligence. Prasange kahilai siddhante rasa iha ye sune shuddha bhakti hoeta. See the blessing, the Shruti Fal of hearing Chaitanya Caritāmṛta, and particularly these pastimes. In this discourse, I have explained the essence of the devotional conclusion. Siddhantera sar. Iha yehi sune shuddha bhakti hoeta. Anyone who hears this develops unalloyed devotional service to the Lord. This is what we should be looking at. This is what we should be hankering for. We should not get confused or get into any doubt, but we should collect this mercy which Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is giving. Likhite granthera yadi kari anuvad tabe se granthera artha payasvad. If I repeat what is already written, I may thus relish the purport of the scripture. If I repeat what is already written, लिखिते ग्रंथेरा यदि करी अनुवाद तबे ते ग्रंथेरा अर्थ पाइला आस्वाद. देखी ग्रंथे भागवते व्यासेरा आचार कथा कही अनुवादे करे बार बार. We see in the scripture Srimad Bhagavatam the conduct of his author Srila Vyasadeva. After speaking the narration, he repeats it again and again. At the end of Srimad Bhagavatam in the 12th canto, the 12th chapter contains 43 verses in which Sri Krishna Dvaipan Vedavyas recapitulates Srimad Bhagavatam's entire subject matter. Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wants to follow in the footsteps of Sri Vyasadeva by recapitulating the 17th chapter of Śrī Caitanya-Caritāmṛta Adi Lila. Tate Adi Lila ra kari paricheda ganana prathame paricheda kahilu mangalachar. Now he is giving the synopsis of the overview conclusion of what he has presented in the 17th chapter. Therefore, I shall enumerate the chapter of the Adi Lila. So, whatever he has presented in Adi Lila in the 17th chapter, so he is again summarizing for the benefit of his readers. In the first chapter, I offer obeisances to the spiritual master, for this is the beginning of auspicious writing. Dvitiya paricheda chaitanya tattva nirupana swayam bhagwan ye vrajendra nandana. In the second chapter, I explain the truths of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj. Tehota Chaitanya Krishna Sachira Nandana Tritiya Paricheda Janmera Samanya Karana. So, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, has now appeared as the son of Mother Sachi. The third chapter describes the general cause of his appearance. What is the name of the chapter? Third chapter. We discussed that. We have discussed third and fourth. Anyone remembers? First chapter is the spiritual masters. Second is that the same Brajendra Nandan is born as Sachinandan. And the third is the external reasons for the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. External reasons. Anyone remembers 3 external reasons for Lord's appearance? What are the 3 external reasons of Lord's appearance? So many times we have discussed. Every God Purnima we discuss. Dolamani, what are the 3 external reasons for Krishna's appearance? Lord Chaitanya's appearance.
Prabhuji, one of the reason is to spread the Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Yeah. Kali Kalera Dharma Krishna Nama Sankirtana. He established the Yuga Dharma as Krishna Nama Sankirtana. Yes. What is second reason? Yes, Sonika.
Prabhuji, as Krishna has told, Sarv Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Saranam Vraja. So, how to take the surrenderance? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came here to explain that. By
That is it. Yeah, that is it. So he established the Yuga Dharma, his Nama Sankirtan. Yeah. Okay, you can find out. You should remember. I expect that you will remember. Important. Okay, and in the 4th chapter, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, has now appeared as the son of Mata Sachi. The 3rd chapter describes the general cause of his appearance. That is, why he has. The 3rd chapter speaks about why he has appeared for the benefit of the human race. Tahi madhya prema dana vishesha karana yuga dharma Krishna nama prema pracharana. So we don't need to tax our brain. Kaviraj Goswami is very merciful. He is himself explaining. The 3rd chapter specifically describes the distribution of love of Godhead. It also describes the religion of the age, which is simply to distribute the holy name of Lord Krishna and propagate the process of loving him. Chaturtha kahilu janmer mula prayojana swamadhurya premananda rasa aswadana. In 4th chapter describes the main reason for his appearance, internal reasons. which is to taste the mellows of his own transcendental loving service and his own sweetness. Panchame Shri Nityananda Tattva Nirupana Nityananda Hoila Rama Rohini Nandana. The fifth chapter describes the truth of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who is none other than Balram, the son of Rohini. Shashte Parichede Advait Tatvera Vichar Advaita Acharya Maha Vishnu Avatar. The sixth chapter considers the truth of Advaita Acharya. He is an incarnation of Mahavishnu. Saptam Parichede Pancha Tatvera Khyan Pancha Tattva Mili Yaiche Kaila Premadan. The seventh chapter describes the Pancha Tattva, Śrī Caitanya Prabhu, Nityananda, Śrī Advaita Gadadhar and Shivas. They all combine together to distribute love of Godhead everywhere. Ashtame Chaitanya Leela Varanana Karana Eka Krishna Namer Maha Mahima Kathana. The eighth chapter gives the reason for describing Lord Chaitanya's pastime. It also describes the greatness of Lord Krishna's holy name. Navamete Bhakti Kalpa Vrikshera Varnana Śrī Caitanya Mali Kaila Vriksha Aropana. The ninth chapter describes the desire tree of devotional service. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu himself is the gardener who planted it. Dashamete Mool Skande Shakha Adi Ganana Sarva Shakha Ganer Yaiche Phala Vitarana. The 10th chapter describes the branches and sub-branches of the main trunk and the distribution of their fruit. Ekadashe Nityananda Shakha Vivarana Dvadashe Advaita Skanda Shakhara Varnana. Very beautiful. The 11th chapter describes the branch called Śrī Nityananda Prabhu. The 12th chapter describes the branch called Śrī Advaita Prabhu. Trayodashe Mahāprabhu Janma Vivarana Krishna Nama Sahayaiche Prabhura Janama. The 13th chapter describes the birth of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, which took place with the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Chaturdashe Balalila Kichu Vivarana Panchadashe Paugan Lila Sankshepa Kathana. The 14th chapter gives some description of Lord's childhood pastimes, some, very few. The 15th briefly describes the Lord's boyhood pastime. Shodasha Paricheda Kaishor Lila Uddesha Sapta Deshe Yovan Lila Kahilu Vishesh. In the 16th chapter, I have indicated the pastime of the Kaishor age, the age prior to the youth. In the 17th chapter, I have specifically described his youthful pastime. E Sapta Dasha Prakar Adi Lila Prabandha Dvadasha Prabandhe Tate Grantha Mukha Bandha. There are 17 varieties of subject in the first canto, which is Adi Lila, which is known as the Adi Lila. 12 of these constitute the preface of the scripture. But the first 12 is the Siddhanta, is the preface. What he establishes in the first 12 chapters, that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the self-same personality. He is the supreme personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. So he established that in the first 12 chapters, and as we discussed, so we took from 13 to 17, which covers his Navadip Leela. Panche Prabandhe Panche Rase Racharitra Sankshepa Kahilu Ati Na Kailu Vistarata. After the chapters of the preface, that is the first 12 chapters, I have described 5 transcendental mellows in 5 chapters. So what we were relishing in this chapter was the topmost Madhurya. So he says that I have described 5 transcendental mellows in 5 chapters. I have described them very briefly rather than expensively. Vrindavanadas Iha Chaitanya Mangala Vistari Varnila Nitya Nandayagya Bale. By the order and strength of Śrī Nityananda Prabhu, Śrī Vrindavan Das Thakur has elaborately described in his Chaitanya Mangal all that I have not. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Leela Adbhuta Ananta Brahma Shiva Shesha Yara Nahi Paye Anta. The pastimes of Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu are wonderful and unlimited. It is Adbhuta and Ananta. And Brahma Shiva Shesha Yara Nahi Paye Anta. Even personalities like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva and Shesha cannot find their end. Ye amshe kahe shuni sei dhanya achire mili betare Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Anyone who describes or hears any part of this elaborate subject will very soon receive the causeless mercy of Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Haribo. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Advait Nityananda Srivasa Gadadhar Adi Yara Bhakta Vrinda. Herein the author again described the Panchatattva. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advait Gadadhar, Srivas, and all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Yata Yata Bhakta Gana Vaise Vrindavane Namra Hoya Shire Dharo Sabara Charane. I offer my respectful obeisances to all the residents of Vrindavan. I wish to place their lotus feet on my head in great humbleness. Shri Swarup, Shri Rupa, Shri Sanatana, Shri Raghunath Dase, or Shri Jiva Charana, Shire Dhari Bando Nitya Karitora As, Caitanya-Caritāmṛta Kahe Krishna Das. I wish to place the lotus feet of the Goswamis on my head. Their names are Shri Swarup Damodar, Shri Rup Goswami, Shri Sanatan Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, and Shri Jiva Goswami. Placing their lotus feet on my head, always hoping to serve them, I, Krishna Das, narrate Śrī Caitanya-Caritāmṛta, following in their footsteps. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purports to Śrī Caitanya-Caritāmṛta Adi Leela, 17th chapter, describing the pastime of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his youth. Nitai God Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Don't want to stop here. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much for your active and lively participation. I had this desire that let us at least recite Caitanya-Caritāmṛta from 13 to 17 chapter. So we have only done the synopsis. So we have seen the trailer. If you want to see the full film, you have to take shelter of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. And that is given by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Actually, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave the original commentary in Bangla. But Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they have translated it in English very elaborately. You will be surprised, Sri Srimad Bhagavatam has 18,000 verses. Caitanya-Caritāmṛta has 11,555 verses. And Chaitanya Bhagavat also has almost the same amount of verses. And in those verses, there are many, many verses which are quoted from many, many other Shastras. So in all, there are many thousands of verses. Okay. So what to do? I have to stop here. But in our heart, that aspiration should be there. That Shruyatam Nityam Giyatam Muda Chintayam Bhaktyas Caitanya-Caritāmṛta Sada Spurita Kandare Vasachinandana. That in my heart, let that merciful Lord always manifest. Yada Sada Spurit Hidaya Kandare. In my innermost chamber of the heart, let the Supreme Lord manifest. And how he will manifest? By regular hearing and regular recitation. Hare Krishna. Want to say something? Or a very high topic. Don't allow your mundane mind. It is beyond logic. It is beyond argument. It is just to be acceptable. Yes, Sonika, boliye.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, as you told that whenever we go to Dham or whenever we read Shastra, we should hear from our heart and keep inside our heart. So, Prabhuji, my heart is completely impure and memory is also not there. So, can't remember everything, means anything actually. So, how to memorize things?
True, everyone within this. Can you hear? Is the audio?
Hare Krishna,
working?
Prabhuji, you were not.
Can you hear,
Yeah,
Sonika?
now you're audible, Prabhuji.
Are others able to hear, or there is, I think there is some connectivity
Prabhuji, we
problem?
can hear.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Is it now
Yes.
audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, what I heard from you, don't worry. So, we begin the process of bhakti not being completely pure. We have not descended from Golok. We have come through various species of life. Brahmand Brahmite. But we are getting that bhagya. So how the impure can become pure? This is what he is prescribing. By sunite sunite seha. Jeva nahi bujhe ke ba sunite sunite seha ki adbhut Caitanya-Caritāmṛta Krishna upajibe priti jani bera sere niti sunile hoye bada hita. We have to do only two things. We have to constantly hear, and after we hear, we try to recite. We share with others. Shruyatam, shruyatam nityam, giyatam, giyatam muda. That's it. Hear and share, hear and share. The process is automatic. That is what Shanvatam Swakatha Krishna Punyo Shavanam Kirtanam Hridayantasto hi abhadrani Vidhunuti Suhitsatam Nashtupraeshu abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. What we have to do? This is what we have to do. We should not withdraw. This is very important. The problem with us is that we withdraw. After we have known that what is the secret, what is the success, still we don't subscribe. And we get engaged in other mundane things, giving other things more priority than what we should be doing. That is most unfortunate. So instead of withdrawing, what we have to do? We have to subscribe. If I don't eat one day, my soul will not leave my body. Will it leave? No. If I sleep less, still it will not leave. But if I don't hear, the soul will engage in mundane activities. Yesterday I was contemplating, we heard for almost 4 hours. The support of all of you. 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening. Ever possible? What we have to do is we have to not let our mischievous mind and our spoiled intelligence let go this opportunity in this life. Whatever may happen in the world, it will not affect us. If we remain protected by following what the acharyas are giving. See how much benediction. You see the last 10-15 verses, so much blessings is coming by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, whoever is just hearing. And how one has to hear? One has to hear with faith. That's it. Very powerful means is to hear. And what to speak of those who are coming in association and hearing. Oh, what anarthas can do. It will be blown away. But never ever, for any rhyme or reason, we should not give any other aspect, more priority than our regulated sadhana. Hearing, reading, chanting, sharing, performing whatever opportunities for services are. Everything else in this world is already included. We are foolish. We try to get some small things and we give up the main thing. I have seen so many. I have asked them, in 10 years, what did you achieve? What have you got? But their intelligence is so rotten that they cannot even see. Again and again, they, Janiya Shuniya Vish Khaini. So we should not get into that trap. And most important is not to have non-devotee association. Very important. Very, very important. Because asatsang is the greatest danger. And if we are in satsang, what we will do? We will discuss Gaur Leela, we will discuss Krishna Leela, we will discuss Jagannath Leela. What else we will discuss? We will not discuss anything else. We will discuss Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Caitanya-Caritāmṛta. There is nothing else to discuss. So don't think, what impurity. You see the impurity those hippies were having. All blown away, but they were very, very focused. Once they met Srila Prabhupada, and the conviction they have in their heart to follow Prabhupada is such amazing. So we should not allow anyone else or any other factor to distract us or deviate us from this path. Success is guaranteed. This is what we have to keep on practicing the process till the very last breath of our life. Bhaktya veshmano yasmin vacha yannam kirtayan tajan kale varam yogi muchyate kam karma bhi. Bhishma Deva at the last stage of his life, he is giving his realization that if one has engaged throughout his life, then Krishna will appear in the mind and take away that devotee to his abode. Prabhupada said that if you follow 4 regulative principles, every day chant 16 rounds, perform devotional service, I guarantee you that after this life, you will return home back to Godhead. So more focus should be what we have to do. That's it. Okay. We should not worry about what is there in our heart. I very much appreciate of your, see how many girls from IERI have heard this 5 chapter. You are the only one. No one else. Opportunity is there for so many, for everyone. But how many subscribe? Very fortunate one. Very few. Very few. So, special case, special privilege. Okay. I'll stop. There are many, many calls.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And we want to, relish this Caitanya-Caritāmṛta. This is the active life force. So it keeps us kicking in our bhakti. So may this Caitanya-Caritāmṛta always inspire us to hear more and more and have more sessions.
Prabhuji, can't we have 1 month session every year for Caitanya-Caritāmṛta during Gaur Purnima or something?
See, I don't decide anything. It is not me who will, decide. Who am I to decide? I just go by the inspiration and I go as per the situation. Because we were to go to Navadip, so it was so decided. Manish Prabhu called me today, so I told him that we will have only very select few people going to Jagannath Puri, because Jagannath Puri will discuss Antarila. And you saw what is Antarila? Just before your taste of Antarila was given. Everything is there. See, I don't have to do anything. I was talking about Antarila. The last few verses is talking about the Antarila. So what Mahāprabhu is performing in Jagannath Puri. So don't worry. Why should we have our own chavanni in between? When Krishna is giving a gold mine, why should we add our chavanni? We should try to extract as much as we can from the gold mine when the whole gold mine is being offered. Okay, thank you very much. Śrī Caitanya-Caritāmṛta ki jai. What we will have tomorrow, I will decide. I have not decided. Tomorrow morning, I will let you know. Most likely, I want to complete the Bhagavad Gita. I want to first complete the Bhagavad Gita, and in between, we will take Vaishnava etiquette. Thank you very much. Śrī Caitanya